I'd like to, now that you've all discussed your official positions and what you've done, I'm sure that it's been a year, hasn't it, since October, November when this process started. You've come upon a lot, heard a lot, and just give me a quick overview how you feel about the process and what you see the future is. Mayor, do you have anything you'd like to say about that?
Well, I think that it's always difficult to be the first out of the box because you know, a lot of this was we had to create the model, and what I've heard over the particularly the last 6 months or so, as cities seem to be picking up a little bit more interest in how do we grapple with this issue, they're looking to Port Huenemy's experience as a, you know, a foundation, a measurement for what they should be doing. It's both gratifying and it's a little daunting that we're placed in that kind of position. But I want to step back for a second as I've heard each one of us talk. I look back to when we started this process and we had so many challenges. A new city manager, a new chief of police. Tony, I can't remember when you came on board, it was somewhere in that time frame. Yeah. A new city attorney. So we're here all trying to figure out our space and our place in Port Hueneme, and at the same time we're grappling with this issue that no other city wants to take on. So that was no easy, you know, task to overcome. Why were we successful? Two things in my mind is that, first of all, we embraced the industry. Those that provide these different types of business models, whether it's dispensary, manufacturing, delivery, cultivation, we brought them to the table because we're not all-knowing, and unfortunately, regulators in general tend to think that way, that you know, it's a cram down and we have all the answers. We don't. And so we brought the community in that we're going to regulate and asked for their involvement.
And they were looking for some place to get started too, legally.
So it was a collaborative process is what I'm saying, and not, you know, this idea that we, you know, we have to treat them in a certain way because there's a mindset against accommodating cannabis. We brought them into the equation. The other thing is maybe it's because we had a change in the landscape with players, city attorney, staff, police chief, and Steve Kenny's arrival, is that all of a sudden we got this new synergy, this new, you know, kind of coming together. And I was so impressed at the Ocean View Pavilion workshop because everybody was helping each other. And when I say everybody, our staff. And it was, we're coming through with a single voice that's being given by multiple people. So, you know, it's a consistent message that's being delivered, and it was a commitment to get it done in the right way. So those are the two factors I think that other communities can learn from is collaboration and get your team in place.
You know, it sounds like that the city, hall, council, police, everybody has adopted the CB motto of can do. And it's great to hear that the city is now a well-oiled running machine.
Well, I don't know if I go quite that far.
Well, we're not thinking real bad.
Well, you know, this was an amazing adventure. And it's not over. It's actually just beginning. But we had to overcome a lot of interesting obstacles. And I think it actually helped us to get where we needed to go faster because we were a new team.
Right.
So,
Rod, I know that you came from Upland back in December, and you had told me that there was various cannabis, marijuana operations down there, and they were pretty scattered out and not regulated. And what's your experience there versus what you see now?
Yeah, so I talked earlier about cities where the, I guess, illegal, for lack of a better term, dispensaries got established, and the city either kind of looked the other way or just decided not to do anything about it. And Upland was an example of that. When I got there, there were 16 illegal dispensaries operating in different parts of the city. Now, Upland geographically is a significantly bigger city than Port Hueneme, about 15 or 16 square miles, so scattered out over a larger space than our city here. But it was a real challenge because there was, the city was, again, had taken an official ban policy position, and the council was very anti-cannabis there. So it's been a real culture shock for me because I spent most of my time in Upland closing down illegal dispensaries, and then got to Port Hueneme, and we had a different, that's actually one of the kind of cool and interesting things about working in local government is that every community is different and councils are different, and here the policy direction of the council was very much, let's get out ahead of this. It's, as the mayor was saying, it's going to happen, and let's say I guess I got here about a month after Prop 64 passed. So, it was just a totally different mindset of let's set up a legal framework to allow these businesses that we know are going to be somewhere and do it in a wise way. So it's been kind of a real roller coaster of different councils and different policies for me over the last few years, but they're still fighting about cannabis in Upland, among the council and in the community. That's one reason I always talk about the apparently lack of any strong opposition in Port Hueneme among the grassroots of the community, because that's a real difference from Upland. There was a very active, vocal, well-organized anti-cannabis element in that community, and that's what's caused a lot of the division. Whereas here, we've had multiple opportunities for community input and have just really not heard that position as being, any kind of an organized or loud voice.
Yeah, I want to go there in just a second, but I think what the mayor said is correct in that we have 4 other people here who came from different areas that were not here before and bring 4 different viewpoints and energy, which is, I think, the key to making it work. And all of you relied on the other guys to fit into the puzzle and bring information that is going to make it, I think, a successful thing. Tony, Rod mentioned the community. We've had meetings and various things. What has been your feedback from being out in the community, and what are their feelings?
Well, as Rod mentioned, it's been, as far as the existing community, it's been fairly quiet at this point. I mean, we've had the meetings, we've had the workshops, we've had the public hearings at this point, and it's been positive at this point because we just really haven't received the negative feedback that I think may have been expected, but hasn't really occurred at this point. So, but again, as was mentioned earlier, this has been a very well vetted out process, for many months, and so there've been a lot of opportunities for that input. So it shouldn't be any surprise really that that this is moving forward. Now, of course, since we've approved the first 2, we expect that they'll probably be open for business towards the end of the year, if all goes per plan, their plans as well. So we'll see how things work out once we actually see these actually in action at this point, accepting customers, and see how their security plans work out and whatnot. The other thing that we'll be looking at is, obviously these aren't the only 2 that will be approved ultimately in town, so, and with the limited areas, we'll also have to see how they and the future ones interact with each other, and how, again, the community, what the impact is on the community and how the community accepts it.
Once we're started, that's going to be the next big issue, is the balance of how many do we need, what do we need, and but I think we will, have had enough experience to make a good rational judgment on it. And that's what this type of forum is for, is to get people the information and show them that, hey, everybody's working for the best they can. And Chief, I'd like to ask you, I know that there has been very good communication between the proposed or the granted licensees so far and the police department, working together. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on that and what's going to make it work for you and your viewpoint?
So I foresee success when it comes to the first two businesses that have been approved for dispensaries. I've had the very fortunate opportunity to actually meet with both businesses in a one-on-one meeting to really go over my expectations and to actually hear what they had to say on what their expectations were from the police department as well in terms of assisting them with their business. And both these business owners have been great to work with. And again, as we mentioned earlier, they both want to see this succeed as we do here. So I came in with my own kind of preconceived notions on what medicinal marijuana dispensaries were all about, and I've had a change of heart. I really think that this is something that's going to work out well, and especially seeing these two owners come in and what they really want to get done here. So I'm kind of in a wait and see now, probably kind of like the community is right now, and let's take it step by step, and then we'll take this to the next level if it gets us there.
One of the things that I've heard from people around that I thought was very interesting, and I understand what you're saying, you've turned 180 degrees, is I heard a lot of people say, well, my grandmother uses it, my aunt uses it, you know, they even give it to their dogs to keep them, you know, that are real over anxious and stuff. So people out there use it for the medicinal reasons, and there's a need for it. So I think we are providing that. And Steve, part of the problem you've had is just getting enough business owners to, you know, really see what's going on. I don't think they fully understand it yet, but once this gets going, it's going to drive up the traffic in all of these shopping areas, and that will mean more business for non-related, you know, cannabis businesses, plus the new ones that'll come in. Have you been talking to people about looking to the future and saying, hey, this is going to help you expand? Because as you know, we have discussed, there's about a 25% occupancy availability in retail storefronts in Port Hueneme. So it would help if they saw more traffic and everything, then there'd be more business and more opportunity for people to open up businesses. Because I think that's the one thing that stops a lot of people from opening up businesses here, or causes them to go away, is the amount of traffic because of where we're located at the end of the road. But if you have something that's attracting a lot of people, they'll come to the shopping center or wherever it is, and not only go to the cannabis, they'll do grocery shopping, maybe go to the bank, do different things.
Right.
Is that something you think that the business people need to hear about, and we need to focus on them maybe some?
That's a good point, Tom, and that bears talking about a little bit, because this is not a golden opportunity for the indefinite future. You know, we're at a very key time right now for business opportunity, in that we're the only city in the county that is offering this opportunity. Now, the paradox is we're also the smallest community in Ventura County, so we're sort of creating this great demand, but the supply side is still a bit of a problem, and so that means that Tony and I have to get a little creative to try and find as many potential spots as possible for businesses to locate when they come in. But to the core of your question, yes, while this is focused on Port Hueneme, it's a hotspot, and to the extent that we can capitalize on that hotspot of creating new traffic driven here by cannabis businesses, that's just exposure for the community. People who come here once or twice for a delivery or a dispensary, I mean, they're going to remember what they've seen here in Port Hueneme. Hopefully they'll drive by the beach while they're here, and you know, that'll be a recollection and a motivation for them to come back again.
Yeah, and I was mentioning people, you know, being near other businesses and shopping there. It's not just the back and forth. We like for these people to come spend the weekend, or in the summer if they have time, spend a day or two here enjoy the beach. And I'm sure over, let's say, the next 3-4 years, there'll be other type of businesses open up, maybe a bed and breakfast somewhere, whatever, that people can come and enjoy.
Yep.
And the word is destination spot. I think that's something we really need to PR and get out there, and we'll find the various media outline ways to get people to know, because I know on some of the stuff that I've done, we've gotten feedback from people all over the country. Oh, I didn't know about Port Hueneme, or yeah, I was there, I'm going to go back, when they make their trips to Southern California. So that's a thing that the chamber and the city and all of us can really work for. So thank all of you for coming and sharing your experiences and what you've done to the people. The more they understand, the more they'll be behind you, the more they'll support you. And if you ever need their support, I think they'll be ready to listen, because they know you guys have done a great job. Thank all of you.
Good.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Tom.
Thank all of you
Appreciate it.
for joining us, and look at us whenever we're on, and we'll let you know. And we hope you enjoy this. If you have any questions, just contact the city, and they'll direct you to who to talk to. Thank you.